So I've got judgments against me. I've got liens on the house. I've got garnishing of my wages. So every time I check the mail, I'm looking for the foreclosure on the house. I had been a good customer, for, 20 years. And it just, they just kept offering me more, and I just kept, saying, okay, if they think I can pay it back, maybe I can pay it back. But then, when you're paying 29% interest, it's killing you. Even like they say, if you make your minimum payment for $1,000, it'll take you, 30 years to pay it off? But you don't look at it that way until you get so behind that, you can't. So, if I read the fine print, they were right. I did sign my life away. So it's really rough. And, you never think you're going to be in this situation. I'm 57 years old. I'm going to lose everything. What do you do?
Sean was considering it, but he had to have $600 to file for bankruptcy, and he was trying to save up money for that. And he said he didn't know how he got into credit card debt. He's a smart kid, but he didn't know how to get in and how to get out. And he told me that he felt like he was a failure. And a week later, he hung himself.
She called me, and she had been laid off her part-time job, crying, wondering what she was going to do because she had bills to pay. And then that night that I talked to her and told her we'd go over all this, I guess she had her bills all laid out on her dorm bed, and about 1 o'clock that morning they said that she had hung herself in her dorm room, and no note.
This is Sean. Nice smile.
It's Mitzi.
It was just a matter of
interest and penalties.
Interest and penalties from, I'd say, 10 to 15 up to about 47,000.
In about 5 years' time. How can anybody get out of that?
I just feel like disappearing. I just don't want to, my existence wants to cease, because it has spun off so many terrible things in our life.
Do you know that if all you continue to do is pay $600 and $900 a month on this debt, you will be dead before you are ever able to pay it off?
I think in a way I'm counting on that.
Hey, Joy, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
I know you don't advocate bankruptcy, but my husband is so depressed over our debt.
He's talking about bankruptcy?
He's talking about suicide.
I've thought about killing myself, but my son killed himself, so I couldn't do it to my kids. But yeah, you think, if I just don't stop at the stop sign, I couldn't do that to my kids. Because like I said, my son did it. I just couldn't put them through that, unless I could guarantee that they would think it was an accident, but you can't,
You review their procedures and policies, and you've essentially agreed with them that this is prudent.
They have appropriate risk evaluation techniques in place. Yes, Senator.
I mean, maybe their kid was sick, or maybe they were running out of gas, and we provided, our clients or the credit card companies provided them with that emergency money that got them out of that situation. Well, when it comes time to pay that, you better pay that back. You know what I mean? I mean, they helped you out of a situation. Now own up to the responsibility and do something about it.
There was a bankruptcy judge down in Virginia who said to the credit card companies, how much of what you're asking for from these families is principal and how much of it is interest that has been racked up? And the credit card companies hemmed and hawed and said they couldn't calculate it and so on. He said, okay, just tell me, over the 2 years. How much, if we take everything from 2 years ago as principal, how much of what you're asking for is principal and how much is interest? And the credit card companies, on average, for every dollar they were asking for in principal, they wanted $2 more in interest and fees that they said they were owed. Well, think about that. That means for the average family who can't pay, they'll keep making payments of $50, of $100, but they'll never pay those debts off. They will owe those debts until they die. Death will be the only form of debt discharge that they will ever see.
That's how different it is to be rich than it is to be poor, because when you're rich, the bank pays you for being rich. If you have a lot of money, they give you money because you have a lot of money. They say, you have so much money that we should give you some. Because you have a lot, you should have more. Here, take more money. Take this guy's 15, fuck him, you should have it.
The rich are getting richer. That ain't gonna change and that ain't gonna stop.
Price for a house now for just your average Joe is $268,000. So that went up 51% from last year. So it's gone up. Everyone's been doubling their money. Like I paid $425 for my house and we sold it for $950. It's a track house. It's not. There's nothing special. You know. It's just a house. I mean, if the median price is $268,000, I don't know what some people are doing. On the other hand, there's some people that bought and now have made, you know, a nice amount of money, double, on their homes. So.
And sure, there'll still be many families who never got into credit card debt and never got into trouble. But a majority of America is now in trouble with credit cards. And if we don't get this debt problem straightened out, we run the risk of turning into a two-tier society. A group that does well financially, and it's a good-sized group, stays out of debt, you've got parents who can afford to send you to college, you can buy a house, you can live the American dream. Small number of people. And then a whole part of America that keeps working and that's always just behind, always living paycheck to paycheck, always worried about whether or not they can pay their medical bills, always struggling, always borrowing from here to pay over there. A life not only of great anxiety, but ultimately a life of great vulnerability. Because at some point, when you can't keep the juggling act up, when you're out of work for a little while, when you get hit with bigger medical debts, when you divorce or someone in the family dies, it all just crashes down. And these people go from being what we used to call middle class just to being part of the poor.
We're moving toward a vote at 12 o'clock, and so we're going to have some problems with our next panel. So we're going to limit you to, if you'll come on up, 4 minutes each to make your statement.
Good morning, Chairman Shelby and members of the Senate Banking Committee. My name is Anthony Jenkins, and I'm an Executive Vice President at CitiCards. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you today to discuss the credit card industry.
Good afternoon, Chairman Shelby and members of the committee. My name is Marge Conley, and on behalf of Capital One, I also want to thank the committee for holding these hearings. And at the outset, I do want to acknowledge that, you know, we do hear the criticisms and concerns, and we are very sensitive to them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my pleasure here to represent MBNA today, and a pleasure to be before the committee. I think that the vast majority of lenders in the country do grant credit responsibly, and that the vast majority of the users of that industry act very responsibly.